If you are growing your business on YouTube, this is a very important topic for you. How do you get traffic from your YouTube channel onto your website? I mean, a lot of us, it's really important for the viability of our business to grow our YouTube channel, to use that to build the know, like, and trust factors and get a lot of momentum and traffic there so that people will then convert over to our website and make a transaction, buy, download, sign up, register, whatever the case is that we want them to do over on our website. Well, today we're going to talk all about that. We are going to be talking with Nate Black about how he does that with his clients and a lot of his experience both on growing websites and on growing YouTube channels. And he's also going to talk with us about how we can do the opposite. If we have a website that already has a lot of traffic, how do we use that website to drive traffic to our YouTube channel and grow that as well? So that's going to be a really, really good conversation here coming up today in this episode. We're also in this episode going to hear from Dalia, where she is going to talk with us about what she did to grow from 1,000 subscribers to 60,000 subscribers on her channel. And as always, we're going to wrap it up with a power tip, something practical that you can do right now on your channel to see growth and momentum. And this week's power tip has to do with YouTube Shorts. So all of that and a lot more coming up in this episode.
Hey, welcome to the Video Creators Podcast. You know how you put a lot of time and energy into your YouTube channel for not nearly enough growth? Yeah, we get it. We're here today to help you change that. If you're trying to accelerate your channel's momentum, become more profitable, and change the lives of more people than ever before, today's episode will help you move forward with confidence. So far, our team is responsible for helping clients generate over 20 billion views on YouTube. And now to help you, here's the Video Creators team.
Hello, creators. How are you guys? It's great to hang out with you again for another Video Creators Podcast episode like we do every week to help you grow your YouTube audience, reach more people, change their lives, and hopefully we're going to change your life a little bit here today so you can continue to reach out and change other people's lives with what you're doing on YouTube. And sometimes the best way we can do that and change people's lives is when they enter into a business relationship with us. They become a client, they buy our online course, they start getting coaching from us, whatever the case may be, because you have something that that person needs so much that they're willing to pay you for it in order to get that value that you want to deliver that you know is going to really impact them. And so to get them to your website, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. The way that we often recommend, and Nate's going to share with you his, which I think is great as well. So you can listen to do what you feel like makes most sense for you in your position and what you're trying to do on YouTube. We typically recommend that you have a discoverable video that brings new people into the channel and discovers you for the first time. And the only goal of that video is to get people to click and watch another video. It's called our 3-bucket strategy. I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to go. We have a video that goes into it in more depth. And then 2, your second bucket is the content that is your community content, which is just designed to help people engage and get to know, like, and trust you more. So your first ask in this customer journey is to just watch more of my content. And then the second ask is okay, start to engage with me a little bit now. And then the third ask is your sales bucket. And that's where we are intentionally trying to get people to click a link in the description below or an interactive card or on an end screen to leave our website and go over to, or to leave our YouTube channel and go over to our website. Now, the reason we don't often mix those together, where we have a discoverable video that's also trying to send people to our website, is 1, people don't tend to purchase from you on their very first exposure to you. I mean, it happens, but it's way more predictable and converts much higher if they feel like they're getting to know you and trust you a little bit more and consuming some of your content. Then they'll be more likely to go ahead and make that step. The second reason why we don't do it is that it's a really big signal to YouTube if people are abandoning YouTube because of the video that YouTube is surfacing to them. So if YouTube's like, hey, video A keeps people on YouTube for an extra 3 minutes and video B keeps people on YouTube for another 30 minutes, video B is going to win all day long, even if it has lower retention, less watch time, etc. Right? So it's really important that when we do that, we're not shooting ourselves in the foot by making content we want to be discoverable, but it's also ending the viewing session. Those two things kind of are two conflicting goals. So we try to separate those into 2 different types of videos. Now, Nate here from Channel Makers has a little bit of a different approach, which I love, and which is why I'm sharing it with you. I think after listening to him, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And I'll be honest, I haven't tested this as much, but he has, and he's seen a lot of good success with it. So I want you to hear his his approach for it as well. And I'll link to his channels in the show notes. But before we jump into meeting Nate and hearing a little bit about his story and how he does with his channels and his experience, I want to quickly introduce you to Dalia. Dalia's channel is Welcome to Chickenlandia. She is the official chicken lady of YouTube, I think. And her channel is all about raising backyard chickens and keeping them, whether for pets or for their eggs or whatever. And so yeah, Dalia came to us when she had about 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. She had this book she was writing and wanted to sell. She had this online course that she was creating, and she's like, Tim, it all stems, like these sales, for me to help people with their chickens. This stems from my channel growing. And so here's Dalia to talk a little bit about her experience working with us and the results that she got as a result.
When I started working with video creators, I had, I think, 1,000 subs on YouTube. And I did have my business, but I was definitely not making a profit. And I was just kind of struggling, like getting it together, getting everything organized and getting my brand, like shaping my brand. So the first thing I did was their 30 days course. It was a really simple course, but that changed so many things for me. And then I went on and did video creators. That really helped me to develop and just improve on the videos, the content that I was putting out there, and also just to really improve the storytelling. And then, I've done some work with Tim on my business, and I have really just continued to shape my brand and hone in how I really wanted to change the world through my business. And it's really helped me, not just to start making profit, but to have more meaning in what I do. So I feel like I had these goals and I just didn't know how to make them happen. And video creators really gave me the steps to help me realize those goals. So I think it was probably the best investment that I have made for my business. I'm so glad I did it.
Go down to the show notes. You'll find the link to Dalia's channel, Welcome to Chickenlandia. You can check it out and just see what kind of results she's getting now. It's been awesome to see where she started to where she is now, from being a struggling business owner to now profitable in her business and growing her channel. And if you feel like, I want that to be my story, like how do I get there? First of all, let me just give you a free training that's going to help you really grow your channel, to help people really connect with you on an emotional level. There's 7 signals that every viewer needs to quickly pick up on from you in order to be like, oh, this is for me. I love this channel. I want more, right? And we're going to identify what those 7 signals are and give you examples of how you can integrate those signals into your actual content. So when people are watching your videos, you get longer amounts of watch time. People start feeling something with you and they want to now subscribe and they'll come back and watch more. Like those 7 signals are so important. It's in about, what's a 43-minute training, I think, completely free. Link in the show notes, or go to videocreators.com/7signals, SEVENSIGNALS, 7 signals, and you can get that free training. And at the end of it, if you would like to, there's an opportunity to hop into a free discovery call with someone on my team just to talk about like, how can we help you do this better? Like, what do you need? How can we help you grow? So if you want to do that, go check it out. Link down there below. All right, now let's jump into this conversation that I had with Nate back at VidCon. Great conversation. Let's learn from him. Hello, Nate.
Howdy.
Hey, first time on the Video Creators channel.
This is the first time. I didn't know you were here.
Oh, really?
We were hanging out, and I saw you, and I was like, oh, my gosh.
I saw the hair. I'm like, I can't miss that. Like, I know that guy. Yeah, it's our first time to meet in person here at VidCon. I've seen your channel around Channel Makers for a while, and you do a lot of YouTube strategy and things with websites and stuff, too, which we want to talk about here. But tell us a little about your story, how you got started, and how that brought you to where you are on YouTube today.
That's a great question. So one of the things that I've been learning about myself, I feel like it's one of those things I've known for a while, but I'm actually finally getting to putting it into words, is I get really pumped up when I see someone that has something that they are thinking about doing. I'll use my sister as an example. She's really good at organizing, like home organizing, all of that stuff. Her brain just works that way. And so when I talk with her, I've had so many conversations where she'll be like, oh, I solved this problem, or this is the issue with the world and they need to do this. And I see that and I'm like, wow, oh my goodness, you could share that. you could share that with people. And so my mind just immediately kicks into just, well, what it could look like. You can share it this way on YouTube, on your website, etc. I just get really excited when I'm able to help people do that.
Yeah. So you started off with website stuff, from what I understand. Tell us about that world, how that gets started.
Well, it's so the channel's Channel Makers. That's the YouTube side of things. I guess the parent company is called Income School, and it's been a while. So it started off, one of the founders, Jim Harmer. He was in college and he was doing photography. He was studying to be a lawyer, but he found himself in spaces where he just wanted to work on his website more than anything else. And so where I come into the picture, we've been doing it for a while and just built a huge community, because we realized that a lot of what was taught about how to build websites, SEO, hacking, Google, all of that, with every new update, their website would be broken.
Yeah, I mean, I think Google's and YouTube is too, pretty motivated to eliminate any black hat, gray hat type of hacks, tricks, or tips, because like on YouTube, for example, which I know you know, is like the YouTube says like anything that the user or that the uploader has to do that the user doesn't care about is classified as a bug, right? So that's like tags are like technically a bug, because the viewer doesn't care about that.
Before. Yeah, makes sense though.
And they're still in there because it's just too much trouble to take it all out from the code, so they just totally de-emphasize them, and the algorithm is said. But yes, so Google does that a lot to websites, and so does YouTube to channels and stuff. So sorry, but yeah.
No. So we were finding that most of the stuff that was being shared was the types of techniques that were like, oh, how do I hack it? How do I get to the top space on Google? When actually we found, we've come up with our own formulas, et cetera, to create content that's actually the most helpful. I know, revolutionary idea, right?
You actually want to serve people?
So create content that was the most helpful and write it in a specific way so that Google could crawl it appropriately.
Yeah.
And so when updates happen, and it's still staying strong with that. Right. When updates happen, it's no problem. It's like, a little adjustment here and there. Yeah. And so that was that side of really helping a lot of people with that. And then we got to, and this is about where I'm starting to get into the picture more, we got to seeing that, oh my goodness, we could do very similar with YouTube. And this came after we had built a few channels and realized, well, a lot of what people were doing wasn't, it was similar. They were trying to game the game of YouTube rather than just making channels that are either really helpful or just genuinely interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So
like optimizing for people, not robots.
Exactly.
Right? That's what we say here.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the next evolution of that, and I think I was telling you before we were recording here, is that I feel like what I've been doing is fairly unique in that we combine a hybrid of website and YouTube channel. And we found that in a lot of cases, and we could talk more on this, in a lot of cases, the combination is like 10 times as powerful as either one separate.
Sure. Yeah. So let's talk about how having a YouTube channel helps grow the website first. Because I think a lot of these people, and I want to talk about reverse as well, a lot of these people, especially as business owners or they are more business-minded creators and things, are like, well, sometimes I just need to get my YouTube traffic over to my website for something. Or is that the way I said it first?
Yeah, YouTube to website.
YouTube to website. Right. Okay, like which one did I say I was going to do first?
No worries.
Glad you were listening because my mind wasn't. So tell us, like, how would you recommend or advise someone go about, if that's their goal, maybe not for every video, but when it is their goal, what should they do?
So a little background to that question.
Sure.
Why it's so powerful is because there's I don't know how familiar you are with ranking pages and sites on the Google SERP.
I'm way more familiar with YouTube than Google.
That's fine. Yeah. But typically you're looking at about 8 months of time in order to rank, right? We know on YouTube you can rank within minutes, right? But when you create an article, you publish something, you're looking at about 8 months. Usually, if you only publish, that's the time for Google to assess your content, etc. Here's the kicker. We've seen if you combine it with an already established YouTube channel and you send over substantial traffic to a page on your website, it can be dramatically shorter. So we've had brand new websites, 6 weeks or less.
Oh, that is pretty short.
4 to 6 weeks.
Compared to 8 months.
So that already is a massive advantage. I just had to say that why we're seeing it be such a powerful combination.
Are you just I don't want to. I'm not sure what your techniques are. Is it just like link and description type stuff, or is there more to it?
That's a good question. So next step would be, well, how do you do it? The technique there. We have found that. So first of all, build an audience that trusts you on YouTube.
Sure.
They care about you, credibility, influence, all of that type of thing. And then what you do with your website is you make it so that it's an additional resource for them. They know like, oh, there's a reason I need to go to the website and not just on YouTube. It can't feel like duplicate content. I guess that's what I'm saying. And so what that means is occasionally within your videos, not every video, you can mention something you have on your website. And it's usually we've had the most success with just kind of organic mentions, and then an occasional video that's maybe bigger. And the big call to action is, hey, go check out this one thing on my website.
Okay, yeah. And it's like an additional value add to the video they're watching, not necessarily like, and go check out my website because I got more info there.
No, never.
Okay.
In the moment, it feels like duplicate content of what they're already watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's wasted potential. So so an example of that, let's say I have a lawn mowing channel and I'm teaching people how to have the greenest lawn on the block, right? If I had I could have an article that's how to have the greenest lawn on the block, right? And that wouldn't, if they're coming from a video like that, that's a bad example. A better example would be, I put together an article of certain regions where you might live, in your geography, and so you can go through and select, oh, this is where I live.
Oh, okay.
This is the techniques or the tricks for you. Right. Because within a video, you don't necessarily go through, oh, if you live here in the Northwest, you get this. That's just not necessarily how you would do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But on a website or a page, it's natural. You just click through. Oh, where are you? Boom, boom, boom. It feels like an additional helpful resource.
Yeah. So and I like what you're saying here, which is like, I'm providing more value to you if you go, not like I'm trying to extract value from you if you go to my website, but like you got to go there because if this is helpful for you in this video, you got to go there. Now I'm trying to think, what am I going to do in this podcast? So it's going to like go to my website for something. I'll figure it out by the end of the episode here. And you can tell me like, nice try, Tim. But okay, cool. So anything else to get from YouTube to the website?
Just additional things we're seeing is, YouTube is, they like to keep people on the platform. So a mistake I see people doing, especially when they're first starting doing this, is within every video, their call to action is go check out my website, go check out my website. But the thing is, what's far more effective is get the session duration first on YouTube and then lead them to the website. So that's why I would say strategically, only put it in videos where there's a natural fit for a piece of content or a direct connection.
Are you trying to make it natural, quote unquote, in every video or no?
No.
Because that's what I feel like people do. I'm like, I see what you're doing there. Nice try.
Yeah,
which is what I'm going to try not to do real hard right now. But.
If I were to give it a number, I would say for sure less than 1 in every 5 videos. Okay. Should you do like a direct call to action.
But like the subtle, like parenthetical thoughts, like, by the way, if you want this on my website, go get it. Is that every video or is that kind of like just as appropriate?
Wherever it's natural.
And actually adds more value.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not like ever a timeout. Hold on, let me tell you about this thing on my website and then back to the content.
Yes.
That's not, okay.
Never that.
Yeah.
And if you have something that you use a lot and you can just say, oh, I'm pulling up my thing from my website, this tool, it's just a little subliminal
the audience
messaging
retention
there.
graph just goes bloop, it goes down, and then it goes, hopefully, back up again after the pitch is over, Yeah. So you're like, okay, most people are skipping that or abandoning if it's like not like you're saying, like a good, natural, like, oh, this makes perfect sense why I would need to go do this now on the website. Yeah. Cool. Anything else to get to the website on the channel?
No, aside from saying that the 1-2 punch of having those two combined, when people decide to buy something, say you have an information product on your website, they oftentimes, we could go into the marketing psychology, et cetera, but short version is when people watch several of your YouTube videos, they trust you much more quickly than a lot of other marketing locations. Yeah, and you know that very well, I'm sure.
I'm like, go preach, go boy.
And so
I think I know where this is going.
So what we were seeing is you still want to have a good sales page or whatever on your website, but it's a quicker turnaround, quicker results.
Yeah,
that's what
higher
that's what we're seeing.
conversion if you've nurtured that relationship first. Yeah, it's very similar to what we say with we call it the 3 bucket strategy. You said what, 1 every 5 approximately. It's about what we say, like 2 community, 2 discoverable, 1 sales. You know, or you could do more, like you said, if you wanted to, but
for sure.
So that makes a lot of sense. And then you still, I guess, like put the link in the interactive card and the end screen in the description below, so it's like easy, or do you like, no, don't even bother with that, just tell them the URL and type it in?
So here's where we get this. Are you ready? This is more insider stuff here. Okay.
Oh.
I don't often put a direct link. I will sometimes, just to make it convenient, etc.
Yeah.
But the very act of them going in and typing it in to their search to find it increases the ranking in the Google side of things.
Oh, okay.
It increases the authority rating of your site, because that means a lot of people are interested in it and they're saying, whoa, this is like a credible website, because a lot of people are searching for it, versus directly going.
So it's not the backlink quality from YouTube necessarily, because all of those are no follows anyway. It's which means like that YouTube or Google isn't supposed to crawl in that website because it's linked. They're not supposed to follow it and get the backlink juice. I don't know if that. If you know what backlinks are, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you're saying you get more authority just having them type it right into the URL. Interesting.
Yeah. Or searching for it, like in a Google search, like the SERP, the search engine results page, like search for it. So in this case, it'd be channel makers. You know, it would be search for that, and then the volume of searches bumps it up.
So you're not telling people go to like www.channelmakers.com/freebie or whatever. You're telling them to go search channel makers freebie on Google and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And
go directly. I mean, we kind of vary the two of them, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now let's talk about the other way around. What is the other way around? The website.
Website to YouTube.
Yeah, to the YouTube channel. What does that look like? Is just like, embed your videos in your blogs or whatever, or what is it?
You know, we don't see a lot of benefit on the YouTube side from embedding your videos on your blog.
Right.
Like on YouTube, it's just an embedded view. From an algorithm standpoint, I don't see a lot of benefit from that. I
agree. That's what I've seen too.
Yeah.
And what I understand from YouTube, actually, technically, is that they don't even count that watch time from an embedded playback the same as on the watch page of YouTube, because it's a different viewing environment that they don't control. And they're like, it's not fair for us to count views and watch time from an embed that could be on a completely blank page to a view or a playback that could be on YouTube, which is like ads around it and suggested videos and like lots of other competition, right? So
totally. That's exactly how I'd see it. Now, having said that, let's say you're writing helpful content on your website. It's a blog style niche website content, and you have a video that goes well with it that would help explain your guide to the perfect green lawn, right? You have a video for that, then you can embed it, right? You could put it in there and let them watch it right there. But an additional way to get benefit out of it is to subtly, again, naturally, you use your inline links and you just, use natural language and let people know that you're not just a faceless website. You actually are a real person and you have a real channel. And so at that point you can say, it would look like, hey, and if you have additional questions on this, you can check out, these articles, or I have a YouTube channel. And it's kind of a natural invite thing.
And then you link the YouTube channel thing to okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. And so when I want to talk about embeds and links. So let's talk about embeds first. So does it matter if is there better or worse, like if you embed it above the fold, which is like before people start scrolling, or towards the middle, the end, or just kind of wherever it fits the flow of the content best, or does it not matter?
Typically, I'd be looking at, I haven't run extensive studies on which area. I mean, we've done extensive studies on how to win snippets on Google, and you're the number one or zero result technically. But as far as videos, I haven't seen a significant difference. Okay. Just where it makes sense to be most helpful. Again,
I think that's the best principle to follow. Yeah. And I've heard and seen that the benefit of having an embedded video is that it potentially increases time on page, which is how much, it's like watch time, but on websites, like how much time does someone spend on that page, which is a factor that Google considers when ranking that page. Have you found that to be true?
Yes, it's a factor.
Factor.
The time on there. However, there's a lot that goes into this, but depending on how the page is set up, sometimes they don't know exactly how long page duration is unless they click to another page. Because they don't necessarily have like a timer on the page, but they do know between different pages on the same website. So that's another
I thought
topic.
it was like with Chrome, they had something built into Chrome that would like measure that, but that was an assumption I was making. I don't know if that's true or not. So, okay.
But yes, it does help with time on page. Which is actually, Google's standpoint, it's good. It's also better for you for ad revenue. Okay. You make more money.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then from a link standpoint, what you're describing, the King of Random.
I'm familiar with their channel.
Yeah. So Grant Thompson is part of how he got started on his channel from the very beginning. He grew it is he got an opportunity to write for another popular blog website, and so he just wrote the post, but started putting links appropriately to his channel and the videos he was making, and so he started growing his channel from the very beginning by getting paid to write some of these posts that were linking to his videos, right?
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of, all right, a little double dip in there, but yeah, it worked. Now 12 million subscribers later, So it wasn't only that, obviously, but that's how how part of how he got started. So I'm assuming that's valuable from his story. Have you found that to be like true for other people, or is it like, no, that's kind of like a one-time thing for Grant, and glad it worked out for him?
Oh, what, writing content and
writing
linking
content and then hyperlinking the text inside the blog post to directly go to the watch page on YouTube, as opposed to just embedding all the videos in there. Is there a benefit to one over the other?
Well, yeah. I mean, we could go into the whole strategy on when you would choose each of those, but if there's something that's directly associated with the article that they're reading right then, just embed it. It's the most helpful, right?
Yep.
But if there are additional resources that are associated, tangential, I think that's the word, where related to that, then you could say, hey, I have these videos that I made about this topic. And then in that case, I wouldn't embed it. I would definitely lead them to YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, it seems to me that the advantage of linking is that you get the person straight to your channel where they can subscribe and watch more videos. But now they're no longer on your website anymore either. So it's kind of like, which is more important to you to have the person? Is that right? Is that accurate? Is that the choice you got to make?
Yeah. And going back to what we were talking about earlier with as far as warming up leads, YouTube we're seeing to be much more effective than even several page views on your website. And so if the behavior of going to your channel does lead to more warm leads, and then they already know about your website, and then they can go back, then it's more beneficial for you in that case.
Okay, great. Are there any other tips, tricks?
Well, I'll speak to the people. I guess this is more a YouTube audience, but one of the biggest mistakes I see happening when people start to try to do a website and a YouTube channel is they assume that they're the same style of content, and they are very different styles of content.
That's very true.
Yes. So being successful on a niche website, for example, is all about search. It's all about what's the question? I'm going to answer the question the best possible. On YouTube, that is only a single style of channel or a single style of video. It's I'm going to create the best searchable video, right? They're not the same. And if the moment you think that they're the same thing, you're on the wrong track.
Well, there's other discovery mechanisms on YouTube, like homepage, and suggested, and watch next, and things besides just search, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even though YouTube is one of the, the second biggest search engine, dramatically more, we all know this very well, dramatically more of the traffic comes from their other engines.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I'm going to tie it back to what we were saying. Like if you have a website and you have a YouTube channel, your website is for helpful content usually. Gone is the era. This is from interacting with a lot of website builders. Gone is the era of I'm just going to blog about my life. No, here's what's happening in my life. People don't do that anymore, but they do on YouTube.
If you can tell a good story, and then it absolutely works.
So if you're looking at creating a hybrid of the two, your YouTube channel can almost be any style: entertainment, connection, vlogging, whatever it is. But with the website, typically I'm looking for helpful stuff.
Well, it's interesting because I'm trying to still think of like, what am I going to pitch naturally on my website here? And I can't come up with anything. And I think the reason is, as you're talking, I'm like, I don't use my website for helpful info.
Oh, really?
I don't.
Yeah. What do you use it for?
I use it primarily for sales. Like I have, and it's very hidden. Like if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page at videocreators.com, there's in the footer, there's a tiny link called videos. And if you click on that, which nobody does, then you could see like and it's mostly just podcast episodes, of like reverse chronological order of like just a normal blog, right?
Yeah.
And
so we're going to end up on that page eventually. Or is this going to end up on that page?
No, because it's not providing any additional value. That's my point, It's like, now the blog post, Caitlin on my team, she takes this content and she'll turn it into an email that we send out, and she'll take it and summarize like all the points and things, and like for like the too long didn't read type stuff, and turn it into like a blog post with the video and the audio episode of this linked embedded at the top.
Okay, yeah.
But there's not really a reason if you're listening to the podcast. There's not like a reason for me to send you to consume the exact same content you just consumed,
unless you want to buy something. Right.
Unless you want to buy something. That's right. Yeah. Or sign up for a free lead magnet or something like that. So as you're talking, I'm like doing a little face palm here, thinking like,
No, see, I need to add the caveat here, Tim, because that is another big reason for a website is a sales page. And for the longest time, channelmakers.com was just a sales page. That's all I had on there, Now I'm adding more other content. The main reason why I'm talking about all this blog content, helpful, et cetera stuff, is if you're also looking to win in search, like the Google search, like a Google SERP, right? Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with just, I'm reassuring here.
Well, I do rank in search for like YouTube consulting, YouTube consultant. I rank number one, and I've been number one. Well, I used to be between number 1 and 2 for a few years, and now the other guy who was doing it has kind of stopped, and so it's just me now. I don't know who, and I actually just checked today because I was talking with somebody else, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure. I'm like, pull it up on your phone, go to like open up, and sure enough, it was right there, number 1. Nice. That's great.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. And I think it's just, I didn't do that on purpose. I wish I could be like, I'm some SEO guru. I am not. I think the only thing I had going for me is I started this a long time ago, and I just happened to be first, and now I stay first. But that's like the only search traffic I get on my website. So now I'm like, sorry, revealing all my cards, and I'm like, can we just, Nate, come here, let's just help me out here, So let's wrap this with this. If you were in my shoes, and what would you be doing? Would you be like, Tim, you should be writing additional blog post content that supplement your videos, or you should be making your blog posts differently about your episodes, or like, what would you say if the goal here was to rank get the site ranking organically better?
Yeah.
Because I feel I started primarily as a YouTube channel with a website, not the other way around. Yeah. Like the only goal of the website was like, I need a place to let people check out, not, what I mean? Go through the checkout process. So not check out mentally. So what would you do for my shoes?
I'd be looking, because you have an audience there. I'd be looking at reasons for them actually covering what we talked about earlier. I'd be looking for reasons for people to spend time on your website.
Yeah.
So resources, guides, and if you wanted to do more blog article style of things, then that would totally work. Okay. So yeah, that's probably what I'd do.
Cool. I love it. That was so good. This is my first time actually meeting Nate. I've been watching his videos for a little while, and he does such a good job. If you want to learn more about growing your YouTube channel, you're going to get a lot of that here, but you're also going to get a lot of that from Nate. So go check out his link, Channel Makers, down in the show notes. And I know you're going to learn a lot from Nate over there as well. Now we want to leave you with this week's power tip, something practical you can do on your channel to see results and growth right away. I know a lot of you guys are working on YouTube Shorts, and I want to just introduce to you a new feature that YouTube has released primarily on iOS, where you can now use a green screen, which has been a thing for a long time on like every other platform. platform like TikTok and things. Like, it's just green screen. You don't need an actual green screen. It just kind of cuts you out, and you can position yourself in front of something else that you want to react to. Someone else's video clip or a screenshot of something or whatever, right? So you can do that now with the YouTube Shorts tool, and when someone does that with your videos or with your content, your video will get attributed by the other creator's video. So it's not like it's they're just ripping off your content, although I guess they kind of are, but at least you'll get attribution and a link back to your video. So as long as you have your content enabled to be remixed, if you can disable that if you want in the advanced settings of your video when it's in your YouTube Studio Manager there, but by default it's enabled. So check that out. Link to more info about that is also down in the show notes. And I'd also love to invite you to our after party for this episode. If you got other questions, you got other examples you want to give, something that came up for you inside this episode that you want to share, you want to talk about, you have a question, go to videocreators.com/podsquad. You can join our Pod Squad community there. Almost 700 creators are in there. And it's a video chat platform where we can talk and interact and answer questions and give feedback. And it's just a really great community. So we'd love to have you join our Pod Squad, where we can talk more about this content in this episode there. So link to that down in the show notes as well, videocreators.com/podsquad. And I will see you guys again next week for another Video Creators podcast episode. See you guys then. Bye.